Hi, I am joining from Derry in the north of Ireland. So I'm also north, but the other side of the water. And I work for Global Horizon Skills. We are a client-focused training solutions company where we deliver a mix of funded upskilling and our own offerings of paid training. So it's a bit of a mix. But yes, there's been a lot of changes with how funding is working and what's included and what isn't. So the terrain has been changing recently.
Excellent. And as you are today our international representation, um, what those changes in funding, is there a particular topic that you're specializing in? What does that change mean for you in Ireland?
Yeah, so just in the past week or so, the Department of the Economy has changed the funding, so it's not available for existing employees anymore. It's only available for employees that are new to the company within the past 6 months. So for the past, say, 4 years, we've been able to deliver to all ages and existing employees, and that's been the bulk of who is going through our funded training. So now we have to pivot, and yeah, I just think there's a real bit of a stagnation with the employment market here. Businesses are finding it difficult to get employees. They're finding it difficult to keep employees, and I think that businesses are nearly scared to upskill the team because they feel like they'll take the skills and just go somewhere else with them. So there's a lot of different obstacles, I think.
Oh, that's an interesting point. What if I train the people and they find a job elsewhere? I think the traditional answer to that is, what if I don't train them and they stay?
Yes, there's a really good Richard Branson quote that says that. So yeah, I agree with that, but it's getting that message out there.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Well, thank you, Jade, for joining us. I hope this will add good value for you. I also see Sandy Wilson has joined us. Sandy, where are you dialing in from?
I'm just in Glasgow, yeah, so another northern participant. I'm people and strategy director at a business called Insights. We have a psychometric product that's been utilized in a lot of these programs, and we're kind of sort of curious about, is this something that we should focus more time and effort on ourselves?
And now, Insights is a sizable training operation,
Mhm.
and also international. Are
Mm.
you, if you're looking at government funded training, are you specialized in that in the UK or internationally? Do you also work in government funded training?
We do, but we don't have. I wouldn't say we have a defined approach, and some of it is through partners or distributors, who maybe have a specialism in that area. And I'm not sure that we, at this stage, make it particularly easy for them to do that. So we'd like to understand if we're seeing probably some shifts in the way that customers are spending their training budget. So interested in whether this is an area that we could access market share differently. But yeah, it would be a new activity for us, really, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, a few people have shared what they're doing, where they're coming from. Clearly, we've seen some larger training operations, international, but also some smaller training providers here. So it's quite of good, a good mix of different experiences and scalability. Now, we as Emissio are a provider to training companies. Let me just quickly introduce that to you, and I will do that with a few slides to share. All right. Make More Training Impact is what we do at Emissio. What are we doing and how are we doing that? We work with training professionals and help to make more impact. We use technology, We create content, but we also created a community to help with that. Our customers are typically training providers, training companies, independent training providers, and associations, because a lot of associations also train their membership or sometimes the wider audience. So those are our two customer segments, if you like. What are our principles? Well, we believe that training is a people business, and technology is there to support it, which means that there is a room to answer the question, will all trainers be replaced by AI? I certainly don't believe so. And our business is operating on the premise that uh, people are responsible and working on training people. We also work in partnerships with our customers to ensure that they actually really get value for money. We also believe that data drives collaboration, and that's a big thing. Traditionally, data was not really used so much in training, and we're working very much on improving on that. And we like an evidence-based approach. So we work with universities, we do research, we share research, and that sharing part is also the principle behind our community element. And the community element, by the way, is this webinar is what we do every month, always a different topic, is an example of how we like to share with the community. So what is it we actually practically deliver? So we are the strategic partner of a company called A New Spring, which is a blended learning platform to digitize and make blended training that training companies deliver. We are the creators of Inmissio SIP, which helps create competency frameworks, but also measures training impact. And we've created a marketplace called ecojourney.com. Actually, we were funded to develop that, which is where training providers who are looking for customers in this space and place on sustainability and social value training. That's what the marketplace is for. I told you earlier, we like to partner with our customers. So we have a number of services to help implement those technologies and make it work for people. And then the business of training community. We don't do just these webinars. We actually also organize a conference for directors of training companies. That happens in October in central London. This is the 4th year we're doing that. And we have an accelerator program for ambitious training companies that want to grow and accelerate their growth. So we have a program for them as well. So that's in practice what we deliver. What is the kind of impact that we make? Well, we've been around since 2018, and we've been working with just over 150 training providers since that time. We've enabled about 1.5 million learners to those training providers to reach more than 1.5 million learners. If you put it in money, tens of millions of pounds of revenue have been generated over that time collectively. And several of our customers have been winning awards with the work that we've been doing with them. So those are some of the metrics that we use. This is an example of that conference that I was talking about. This is the Gladstone Library in the Royal Horse Guards Hotel in Westminster, which is where the conference takes place. All right. Now, a quick overview of funded training. And I just wanted to talk about local skills improvement plans, because a lot of the funded training for organizations is going that way. How does that work? Well, in every region, there are 39 regions in the country have an ERB, an enterprise representative body. And that enterprise representative body is usually a chamber of commerce in a region. Sometimes it's the Federation of Small Businesses, but usually the Chamber of Commerce. They work together with the strategic authority, as they call it, which is really the council quite often in that region. And those chambers work with the companies in their region. And what they really survey these companies with is what is the training that you need? And there are two topics. Usually, of course, digital transformation is a big topic, but also sustainability and social value is a really big topic that society needs to change on. So those are the main topics that are questioned. And then that data is shared with training providers, and training providers deliver and sometimes design training that is coming from that, and then they deliver that training to companies. Unfortunately, over the last few years, the accuracy of that assessment of what training do you need has not been great. And that is exactly what we've been developing, tools to assess in a more accurate way what that actually is, that training need, that allows then training providers to create more relevant training, and then also have a feedback loop where companies can say, okay, we did the training, and we then report on the actual impact of that. And that impact is not just the individual, how they did, but also the company results. And this is where it gets interesting. So what you can then see is data like this. Number of competencies assessed, what are the top skills by competency area. So for example, there is an 88% gap. This is a gap analysis of AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, carbon literacy. You can get real data, and also more granular than this to understand what it is. Because for example, AI could mean I'm not aware of AI, don't know what it is, but it could also mean how do I implement it in my business? So that's a big difference. The next part is then you can also do this gap analysis by role, job role, leadership, operations, logistics, customer facing people, etc., etc. And then once you do the feedback loop, you can then show by individual, for example, what the road traveled is. Apprenticeships do this already, but usually on a paper basis. And we've automated this as well, where, for example, the measurement before and the measurement after shows what the uplift is and what the learner has actually learned. And then also applied. And this is where it gets even more interesting, because we're not asking just the learner, we're also looking at what the impact is on the businesses. So, for example, staff productivity went up, recruitment savings, customer satisfaction. You can see a number of impacts on the business there. And that's where I wanted to leave it for now. It's quite an introduction, but I'm really curious if organizations have been receiving training or maybe participating in training in other ways to work with their audiences. Actually, Sandy, you within Insights, you've been probably delivering quite a lot of training within these kind of areas. Is that fair to say?
Well, some of these areas, I mean, we fundamentally focus on self-understanding and understanding of others. So like our product is often combined with some other, technical skill or, managerial leadership skill, if you like. So like our focus would be the leadership part, the collaboration part, those sort of so-called soft skills, if you like, that would align to the other more technical skills that I think are more prevalent in your presentation there.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's some quite technical skills in there. Also, soft skills depends on the topic at hand, I guess. Yeah. Anybody else who has experience with this or has seen experience on this? I want to give people opportunity to ask their questions. Or otherwise, Stuart Atkinson, through ESS, you've been working with quite a few funded training providers. Have you seen any of this happening as well? And of course, I'm asking the question when maybe Stuart is just offline at the moment. Ian, I see that you unmuted yourself. Any comments on that?
In regards to funded training?
Yeah, funded training and the use of it, or is this not maybe the right topic.
Well, funded, there is a vast amount of funded training that is actually out there, particularly through the DFE, um, which is where we tend to live in terms of our products and services. Um, and those funds are accessed predominantly by training providers, independent and otherwise colleges, and they then deliver that training into industry over a number of different areas, apprenticeships being one, boot camps being another, adult education budget. There's a wide range of funding that is available that is being delivered on, daily into industry.
Thank you. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, Ian. I will come back to you in 1 minute. I wanted to ask about Ireland. Jade, you were earlier on there as well, and the measurability, the reporting that you've seen in Ireland, is that kind of what I presented here? Is that kind of the similar what you've seen, or is it completely different? What is your experience?
Yeah, it's more manual, like you said, like paper based, or then just uh transferring that over to our own spreadsheets and things like that. But I don't do that myself personally, but I know that the programs delivery team do that. And there's a lot of admin around that. I know that it's time consuming and uh, it's a never-ending process, I think, with that. Yes.
Fair enough. Actually, you just mentioned admin processes that that need to be in place. Is that a hindrance, or is that not big enough of a hindrance to go in to say government funded training is really difficult to deliver?
I think that the government funded training is still our biggest money earner, even with all the time spent with the admin. Um, yeah, it has been up until now when it's changed to only being for new employees. So yeah, I think it's still definitely worthwhile in terms of the director of the company. It's always been her main focus. But we kind of feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath us now at the moment. It's definitely changed in terms of how it's going to work for us as a business, and it'll change our income with it as well massively.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.